MOTROLIX.
Hello and welcome to the fourth episode of the Cadillac Society podcast, where we discuss the latest news, rumors, and anything else surrounding the iconic luxury marque. On today's episode, we will discuss an important change coming to the Cadillac Escalade. I'm your host G, and joining us as always is Cadillac Society Executive Editor Alex Loft.
Hey G, great to be here. Have I told you how great it is to be here?
I believe that the greatness is felt by me.
I hope it's tangible.
The excitement always is tangible until we talk about your final thoughts later on.
Yeah.
I want to know what you got. But before we get started, we have a few small housekeeping announcements. First, if you want to subscribe or listen to the show, go to Cadillac Society/podcast. There you will find all the ways you can watch, listen, and subscribe to the show. You can also find us in podcatchers. Just search for Cadillac Society in Apple Podcast or iTunes, Spotify, or Android Podcast. And, as we mentioned during the last episode, we're now on Amazon Music. So, you wanted to talk about the Cadillac Escalade diesel?
I did, because the episode before last, episode 2, we discussed the 2025 Escalade, what we should expect, what we expect, what others should expect from it. And we got a part of it incorrect. And that part has to do with the diesel engine. So what happened was I started hearing whispers of the diesel going away. It was after we had already published episode 2, and I started hearing the whispers. So I started doing all the proper channel research and phone calls and so on and so forth. And I got a hold of my sources, and what I came away with is that the diesel engine in the Escalade will be going away, which is quite unfortunate in my opinion. So let's kind of go back a bit in time and kind of set the stage for what we discussed during episode 2 and really what to expect going forward. So for the 2021, 22, 23, and 24 Escalade, all of those offered the 3-liter turbo diesel Duramax inline 6-cylinder engine. That is production code LM2. And the engine is, it's a sweetheart of an engine. It delivers 277 horsepower, 460 pound-feet of torque. It's quite healthy, quite peppy, and its biggest draw is the fuel economy. So when you compare the Escalade diesel with the LM2 to the Escalade with the 6.2-liter naturally aspirated V8, that's production code L87, when you compare both vehicles, apples to apples, both have a 10-speed, both are the same size, regular length to regular length. What you get is substantially higher fuel economy. That's really the whole point of the diesel. It does have a secondary benefit that I'll get to in a second, but the primary benefit is the fuel economy. So 23 miles per gallon combined on the Escalade diesel, 16 miles per gallon combined on the Escalade 6.2-liter gasoline. V8. So quite a bit of a jump in fuel economy. But the secondary benefit that's really associated with getting the diesel as well is that it's just a sweetheart of an engine. Kind of like I said, in episode 2, I think it's the best engine in the Escalade period. I'm not discussing the Escalade V here. I'm not referring to it because the Escalade V is its own, it's its own thing, right? It's a high performance machine. It sounds and it roars in a different way and it delivers the power in a different way. But when you're talking about 6.2-liter L87 versus the 3-liter Duramax, I would pick the 3-liter Duramax every single time. And the reason I would do that is because the way it makes the Escalade feel when you're driving, when you're accelerating in particular, it's very different from the way that the 6.2-liter makes the Escalade feel. So when you're accelerating with the 6.2, which has quite a bit more horsepower, right, you end up with this kind of situation where the nose goes up, up high, the butt sags, and there's a lot of these kind of secondary body motions that take place just because of the power delivery, the way that the 6.2 delivers the power. So it's plenty strong, the 6.2. But what you kind of end up with, especially if you drive a bit more on the aggressive side, what you end up with is this kind of, secondary body motion galore type of situation.
It's almost like a boat type feeling.
Yeah. I mean, the Escalade, at the end of the day, it's a body on frame behemoth, right? It's huge. Yeah, so that's really the secondary benefit. So first you have the fuel economy. That's really the whole draw of the diesel. But then the second draw is, you don't get the secondary body motions with the diesel. It accelerates in a lot more of a smoother fashion. It doesn't jerk the body around. It doesn't make it, pitch and yaw and all that stuff. So that's really the whole point, the whole draw, I would say, of the diesel engine. Alas, it is going to be no more. And not only that, as if that wasn't enough, but to add insult to injury, Cadillac will also be doing away with the diesel engine in the refreshed 2025 Escalade, meaning that it actually won't be doing away with the diesel engine. It just won't offer it, period. So when the 2025 Escalade launches, it will not offer the diesel engine at all. And that's quite a shame, because the diesel engine that was supposed to have been in the 2025 Escalade, the refreshed Escalade, as we mentioned during the second episode, that was going to be the improved version of the Duramax Straight 6. It was going to be not the LM2 anymore. The production code would have changed to LZ0, and as a result of that, you would have gotten more power, more torque, and even more refinement, specifically on the that long crank issue where you fire up the diesel. Currently, the LM2, it kind of cranks a bit more than it should, perhaps. The LZ0, the next generation, the second generation of that engine that would have been in the 2025 Escalade, it would have solved that. The engine solved it. It's already out today in the Silverado 1500, the Sierra 1500, and it solves a lot of those things. And like I said, it's also more powerful and more torquey. So 305 horsepower in the new version versus 277 horsepower in the LM2 in the outgoing diesel, and then 495 pound-feet of torque versus 460 in the current one. So quite a bit more in terms of torque, a little bit more in terms of power, and just improvements overall. That engine, unfortunately, will not be offered, as far as our sources are telling us right now. It will not be offered in the 2025 and newer Escalade refresh.
So if it's power that you're looking for and just the feeling, the brute feeling of outright power, then, the diesel probably wasn't really all that good of an idea. But if you have, if fuel economy is important, or if you just don't care about, having that feeling of power, then it was probably the perfect engine, because like I keep saying, it just delivers that nice and smooth acceleration experience, just based on what the body is doing, not based on what the engine is doing, not based on what how quickly the vehicle is getting to speed. But it's really the secondary body motions that are controlled a lot better with the Duramax diesel in the Escalade.
Any reason why you think that they pulled this move?
Yeah, I think it has to do with demand. From everything I'm hearing, it's demand. And I should make this clear. At no point in time did I reach out to Cadillac or to GM about this. I already know what the question, what the answer from them is going to be. We do not discuss future products until we announce them, until we do discuss them. That would have been their answer. But everything that I've heard from my sources indicates that demand is really the reason that they're discontinuing it. There is just not enough demand for this diesel in the luxury space in which the Escalade competes. And it kind of makes sense when you look at the space overall, right? That the Escalade, like I mentioned again during the second episode of the Cadillac Society podcast here, the vehicle transacts at over $100,000 consistently, meaning that those who are buying it have deep pockets, right? And so maybe to them, the fuel economy that the additional fuel economy that the diesel offers, maybe it's just not all that important. Yeah. Maybe they're not really looking for it.
Now, like you said, refined, we're seeing it in the 1500. We're seeing the Silverado. Can we still get it?
Yeah, you could get it, just not in an Escalade. So you could get it in the 2025 Chevy Tahoe. You can get it in the 2025 Chevy Suburban. And the GMC Yukon and Yukon XL have not yet been announced, but it will be offered in the GMC Yukons as well. So you can get that engine in anything. as long as it's a Chevy or a GMC, as long as it's not a Cadillac. Yeah. And so it's, I don't know if it's a shame. I kind of feel a little bit sad personally, because that would have been the configuration that I would have purchased myself. Like, just for totally selfish reasons, I feel sad because I actually want one. I actually want an Escalade diesel with the LZ0. But as it stands, as we know right now, there are no plans by Cadillac to offer the LZ0 Duramax or the LM2 Duramax in the Escalade after the 2024 model year. And I should also note that my sources also tell me that September 16th will be the last production week of the Escalade with the 3-liter LM2 turbo diesel Duramax engine. So basically, if you want an Escalade, a new Escalade, not a used one, right? But if you want an Escalade that's new with the LM2 diesel, then run, sprint, don't walk, sprint to your local Cadillac dealership.
Well, you heard it here. Get to it right now, September 18th.
16th.
16th.
September 16th will be the last production week. So as we record this, some dealers have told me that they can no longer place orders for the Escalade, the 2024, right? The non-refresh, pre-refresh Escalade with the diesel. And I had a couple of other sources tell me that they still can place an order, but they don't know if it's going to be actually built. So, again, if you want one of these, run. Find one on the lot if you can. Have the dealer do a dealer trade, or, just find one that exists out there.
Well, wrapping this up, do you have any final thoughts this week?
About the Escalade? Because I could, I could tell you about some more in case our listeners haven't had enough of it in the last episode.
Oh, God.
You want to talk about that optic A-pillar? The A-pillar and the optic is a topic that I can go on and on and on and on about for a while.
It's been simmering there for a bit, huh?
It's still, you
still feel the same? Are you sure?
I just got out of therapy, and it was an intense session. All right.
Dude, it's that bad, huh?
I'm dreaming about that A-pillar. I'm having nightmares.
We're going to have to get you on that episode 5 so you can clear that out of your system. Alrighty. Thank you all for joining us on the 4th episode of the Cadillac Society podcast. You can find this show at cadillacsociety.com/podcast and the MOTROLIX Network YouTube channel. Please remember to hit that like button and give us a follow to stay up to date on the latest Cadillac news. We're now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Amazon Music, so be sure to subscribe and leave a review. Stay tuned for our 5th episode coming next week. In the meantime, be sure to visit CadillacSociety.com for the latest news and forums.
MOTROLIX.